y'all a treat today. Last minute call from to my friend Chris Trainor with the state newspaper. There's a lot going on this week, and so I thought Chris has got his pulse on a few things, especially the elections. But let me just, before we get there, I want to introduce Chris. But we did have one election this week. Not many people showed up for it, but Richland 1 had an election, and Robert Lominack, great guy, smart fella, was elected this week to fill unexpired term at Richland 1. Well, we got a big doozy of one coming up on Tuesday, and I wanted, other than me, just to pontificate about it, which I don't mind doing sometimes, but I felt having somebody that hasn't been a part of this program for say a few words about what he's seeing. And I got a couple of questions for him, but I want to introduce Chris Trainor. Chris has been a longtime fixture in the media here in Columbia, hails from the great west part of the state, western part of the state, around Abbeville. He does like some Abbeville football. But he is a prolific tweeter, part-time comedian on there, and part-time smartass. And I say that affectionately, Chris. My favorite tweet, he's done a bunch of them, but this one last week was so good. It's worth repeating. Just simple. If you're emailing me at 11:30 at night, you need to reevaluate your life. Amen, brother. Pretty simple.
I get email at all hours, but it's, it's at some point, you get a life. Thank you for letting me be here.
So thanks for the humor. Listen, thanks for joining us today. We got a great group here, but want to ask you a few questions. Your thoughts. This is coming, no editorializing from him. This is just what he's seeing. But they had a last debate last night. What are you seeing in the election? What's your thoughts right now for Tuesday's mayoral election?
Well, yeah, they did have a debate last night. I thought it was a good debate hosted by Judy Gatson at WIS. Had a little bit of fireworks at the end, but pretty substantive otherwise. This is an historic election. We've had, for 3 terms, Mayor Steve Benjamin at the helm in Columbia, our first African-American mayor in the history of Columbia. But now he's stepping aside, as I'm sure everybody here knows. And you got 4 people gunning for his spot. Now, 2 of those, Miss Devine is Tamika Devine is a 20-year member of council, a 19-year member. And Daniel Rickman is a 3-term member of council. And they're both, leaving their seats to go for this mayoral spot. And of course, there's a race over in District 4 as well, with only Joe Taylor signed up for it, and a race in District 1 where Sam Davis is stepping aside after 23 years. So someone new is coming in that spot. So to me, it's an historic election. I mean, your first African-American mayor is stepping aside, and there's a lot of shuffling. Just because of the way it rolls, there could be as many as 4 new members of the 7-member council. So it's been quite the election season, and the dominoes started falling in February when Mayor Benjamin announced he wouldn't run again. And that just started the, who was going to run for what, and it's led to a really long city campaign. I mean, 9 months is a long city race. And now it's coming to a head on Tuesday with a 4-way battle between Miss Devine, Mr. Rickman, former Councilman Mo Badura, and Sam Johnson, who was Benjamin's chief of staff. So
you mentioned it has been pretty tame up until this point, fairly innocuous campaign. It did heat up a little bit last night. Do you think the attack ads at this late in the game, do they make a difference?
They could make a difference, just because we have majority elections, meaning if no candidate gets 50% plus 1, it goes to a runoff in 2 weeks. And so if those attack ads, which we have seen, forgive me, my son keeps splashing in my face if I lean forward, By the way, I'm supposed to be drinking coffee, but I have Diet Mountain Dew.
Oh man. All right, let me mute you and cut you off. Just kidding.
Yeah, so if those attack ads can peel off, X amount of votes, especially if it happens to be a low turnout race, yeah, they could affect the race. Now, that's always a gambit. And again, this is not commentary on the ads themselves, but it's a gambit that ads like that don't rile the person who's being attacked's base, right? There's always oh, well, they're coming after her, so we're even stronger in our resolve to go vote for her, But yeah, no, I think that in a 4-person race with a runoff situation, it could have an effect.
So you've sat through a bunch of the forums,
Yeah.
Hosted one, enjoyed them all though, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Of all of them, what are some of the major issues, the themes? We had one, and I can talk about that one, but specifically from the neighborhoods, all the ones you've seen, what are the big issues that you see that are driving the debate?
The number one issue in this election to me that comes back over and over, whether you're talking to business leaders at the chamber or whether you're talking to coalitions of neighborhoods or whether you're talking to specific neighborhoods like Greenview and others in North Columbia, is public safety. That's come back again and again across the campaign. Violent crime overall in Columbia is down. Overall crime is down. However, violent crime is up in Columbia by about 11%, according to the most recent numbers from the Columbia Police Department. The police department has dozens of vacant positions amongst its officer ranks. That's not uncommon in this country right now, not only in public safety, but in other realms of business, as everybody on this call knows. But nevertheless, they do. And so public safety has again and again been a topic that the candidates have addressed, and different viewpoints on how to shore that up, obviously amongst 4 different people, but that's been a topic. And I would say, and not just saying this because we're in a chamber group, but, business and economic development have been a topic. A lot of times when regular folks are thinking about business, they're not necessarily thinking about industrial recruitment or clusters or some of the things you guys may talk about. I mean, regular Joes and Janes think about things like restaurants and those quality of life businesses that they want to see in their life, and want to know how their representatives can bring that to them. So those type of things have definitely been tip of the tongue in many debates I've seen.
So thank you. I agree with you. Those have been the themes that I keep hearing as well. Steve's been fairly decent. He's a great politician. I mean, one of the best I've ever seen. What's his legacy that he's leaving behind, and what are lasting? And what do you think what of his issues will those candidates pick up the mantle and carry it with them?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think his legacy is somewhat complicated. Not everybody loves the mayor, but I think generally he's been a popular mayor. I think he's engendered a certain amount of goodwill amongst the people. I think that we all know that Columbia's maybe grown slower than other cities in our states, other large cities. But some good things have happened during the Mayor Benjamin's time. I think that for good or for ill, I mean, the student housing boom has changed the skyline of Columbia. The Soda City Market has come around and been an extraordinarily popular event every weekend that's come along in Mayor Benjamin's time. Bull Street was a fight, and there's been a lot of talk about Bull Street over time, but I think that time, and I think Carl, you may have said this at a story at some point. I think time's going to be kind to him on that deal. The Fireflies came about during Mayor Benjamin's time. I think anybody who spends any time at Sacred Park during the summer knows that's been a tremendous quality of life addition to our city. I would hope that, and even last year during the protests, some of which turned very testy, violent, I thought Mayor Benjamin handled that just about as well as he could and brought the city together when it needed to be brought together.
I agree with that.
Those are just some of the things, some of the feels, some of the things that I would hope the next mayor, whoever he or she may be, could bring about. But each person is their own. I don't know that there's another Steve Benjamin in this race, and that's okay. But yes, some pieces of his mantle would be taken.
Thanks. I want to pivot right now. Oh, that's such a 2020 word. I apologize for using that word. I want to switch now. Something you just brought up. Your newspaper did a fantastic series last week on the Future Cities Project, looking at 7 different communities around South Carolina and looking at the next 20 years. So if y'all have not had a chance to read that, I encourage everybody to go back and read that. Really, really well done. Specifically on the piece that you worked on, or really, let's talk about, if you don't mind, why, what was the thought process behind that series, and how you came about to get there.
Yes, well, the thought process is, South Carolina has grown. It has grown according to the census and in all of our knowledge in these last 10 years. And where a lot of that growth has come has been in the cities of South Carolina, not so much in the rural areas, which is a whole other story for another day, and it's regrettable. I am from Abbeville, South Carolina, as you mentioned earlier, and it hurts me sometimes to see what happens in rural places. But this state has grown because our cities have grown. And so we wanted to examine, the 7 sort of largest cities in South Carolina, Columbia, Myrtle Beach, Rock Hill, Charleston, Greenville, and
Lexington.
Now, Lexington obviously is not one of the largest cities, but the county is exploding in growth, and it's our neighbor, of course, and you can't ignore it. So that was, we wanted to say, okay, these folks have kind of come a long way in these last 10 years. Where are we in 20 years? What's South Carolina look like then? So that was the sort of genesis of it. And then we broke it up with different, myself and Sarah Ellis tackled Columbia, Bristow Marchant tackled Lexington, Lynn Riddle, and Greenville, and so on. So we had reporters and photographers break up into those 7. We've been working on it for 2 months.
So what did you glean yourself from the Columbia piece? Did you pick up any nugget that you weren't thinking about, or what you found most interesting?
It's not that I picked up things I wasn't thinking about, but just that people spoke to the truth. That, I thought we were able to get, and for y'all don't mind my china cabinet back there.
Yeah.
It's my mother-in-law's china that came to us. Carl, for full disclosure, Carl, you were quoted in the story.
Yeah, absolutely. I should have disclosed that.
But I found it fascinating that, one, we had people almost to a person, whether they were on different sides, they love Columbia. That was number 1. Even if they're coming at it from a different feel about things, they love Columbia. And I thought it was just, there was an open understanding in there that Columbia is made of factions, at times warring factions. And if we could ever get our stuff together, we might really be able to rock. We've grown, our population grew at like 6% in the last 10 years. Greenville was like 21. Charleston was like, I'm quoting off memory here, but Charleston was 20 plus. Why not us? That was one thing I gleaned from it. Clearly taxes are an issue here? Are we going to be willing to get our arms, or are we going to be willing to have the political humbleness, humility, if you will, to deal with that? And I think there was an abiding talk from multiple different people that we're not trying to be. We don't want to be Greenville, Charleston, or Charlotte, but that Columbia is itself cool and can be cooler. We have what, six higher education institutions. We have a lot going for us. We have the nation's largest Army training installation. We have the flagship university of this state. They're the seat of state government. What can we do to spin off those things and become more like our peers? And so it was I thought, a pretty honest conversation with
I
me.
did too. And I thought it was well done on all pieces, quite frankly. I enjoyed reading the other ones as well. So thanks to that. Listen, You've been kind with your time. I told you I'd keep it short, but very insightful. And I would say the takeaway for that article was there's promise and there's hope. I thought that even though we're not where we want to be, the tone and tenor said that there's a better tomorrow, and that I think we all are looking forward to that. So, Mr. Trainor, I owe you one. Thank you for joining this morning and sharing your insights with us today. I really, really appreciate it. Go check out that article, and we'll see what happens on Tuesday. It's a big day for us. So appreciate your time. And by the way, Mr. Johnson loves your China cabinet.
Good. Well, good. That's Morrell Johnson's on this call. I did not know he was a part of our Future City story.
Yeah.
And he's obviously an experienced Columbia SC ambassador and one of my favorite people in the capital city. I did not see him on my screen here. I'm really glad to know that he
and apparently a connoisseur of China cabinets. So listen,
when you talk about a Renaissance man, that's what you're talking about.
All right. Well, listen, thanks very much. Appreciate it. All right, a couple of things before I flip it to y'all. On this day, I tell you what, I learned a lot today. This has not been historically the best day for US. So 1929, Black Tuesday, stock market crash. Crazy thing, Sir Walter Raleigh was executed on this day in 1618. I'm a North Carolina boy. You gotta like Sir Walter Raleigh. How about 1974? I know most of y'all don't remember this. Morrell does not, but the Rumble in the Jungle, Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman, happened on this date. That was huge. Hurricane Sandy in 2012 was a wreck for the Northeast, but I tell you what, hindsight, it provided a huge opportunity for parts of the boroughs to change and really invest in infrastructure. But that happened in 2012. And I saw Rebecca on here, Jordan, but in honor of her and her organization, 1863, the Red Cross was founded. So happy birthday, Red Cross. Rebecca, I hope you're eating a cake.
Thank you. Yay.
All right.
Champagne.
How about, yeah. Y'all are aging well. All right. I'm going to throw it out to anybody today. Anybody got some thoughts, pearls of wisdom that want to share with the group? Do we need a coffee break? Y'all are sleeping. Let me introduce, while he's drinking not coffee but water, Greg Williams with the City of Columbia. He's the new business liaison officer for the City of Columbia. So great to have you join us this morning, Greg, and enjoy meeting with you this week. But Greg's the go-between. Back in before I got here, so it was Chamber BC before Carl. They did a whole study on business-friendly task force, and it took years to go through, 4 or 5 years. And out of that, we said we needed a liaison with the city and the just to help get projects through, because the bureaucratic red tape was tough. And so Greg's filling that role today, and we're excited about that. So if you have any issue at the City of Columbia, Greg's your man, and we can provide his contact information for you, or you can throw it in the chat box there, Greg. but we're glad you're here.
Yeah, I'll put my phone number in the text box. Anything business related, any issues with the city, please reach out. Please let me know. We're here and we're happy to help and resolve your issue to the best of our ability.
Great. Thank you very much. All right. Anybody else? I know we're creeping up on time. Anybody got something that you want to share? All right. Well, thanks for letting me host or bring in guests today just to show a different perspective on what's going on. But if you live in the city, don't forget to vote on Tuesday. That will be, or if you're gone, you can certainly vote early. I think absentee voting is open tomorrow on Saturday. So make sure you get out there and vote. So, all right, I'm looking around. I don't see. All right. Until next time, I hope you all have a great weekend. Enjoy the beautiful fall weather. Go easy on the from my dentist friends. Go easy on the sugar tomorrow night for your kids. But happy Halloween. We'll see y'all next Friday. Same channel. All right. Y'all have a good one.